Hi guys, welcome to Level Up Academy. My name is Doc Leland. I wanted to give you a little bit of glimpse of why Level Up Academy. And I apologize for my eyes being red. I have a migraine. But don't worry, it's not that bad. I wanted to give you information on why I created Level Up Academy. And this actually was born because of the stuff that I'm seeing as a professor. I used to teach K to 12. Literally at my youngest students is 4 years old and my oldest is 74 years old. So I teach K to 12. I've taught K to 12 for all kinds of subjects, all the way to 74-year-old to a graduate program or PhD or doctorate program. What I have found in the last decade is that the education industry is necessary, right? However, the way it's laid out and its foundation is not working anymore. Most organizations now want their graduate to be employed, to be fully employed, to have experience. But most of the students that are in this college program are not experienced. That's why they went back to college, because they want to have a different career, maybe a second career, or they're brand new from high school and trying to get to college so that they can learn something. The problem is our economy has changed, especially after COVID. And I'm going to read you a couple of statistics that I've looked up. According to Melanie Hansen from Statistica, educationstatistica.org, this is in July of 2022, so not too far, not too long ago. It says many students are putting off going to college and foregoing it. 4.31% decline in enrollment since 1951, year after year. So year after year, there's always a decline. It's been declining. Spring of 2022, this year, post-secondary enrollment fell to 16.2 million, around 14.7% decline from fall of 2020. First year college students is at 38% decline. About 1 million students are international students in 2019 to 2020. Now let's talk about dropout rates. Dropout rates for first-time undergraduate is at 24% overall. Now, but anyone seeking, so dropout rate for undergraduate meaning like bachelor's degree or associate's degree, could be that, right? Overall, it's 24%. However, specifically someone who is looking to get a bachelor's degree, the dropout rate is at 40%. So some students come in and they just want to get an associate's degree. Some may be just going for maybe a certificate, or maybe just thinking about going to college, don't know if it's an associate's or a bachelor's yet. That's at 24. But the ones who are saying, I want a bachelor's degree, the dropout rate is at 40%. That's huge. Now, in July of 2020, there were 39 million Americans who dropped out of college. 39 million. And that is in July of 2020. That's because it was the very beginning of pandemic, right? 34.2% of these college dropouts are 35 years old and under. The for-profit school have the highest dropout among all first-time freshmen, right? College dropouts are at 19.6% more likely to be unemployed than any degree holder. Workers with some college but no degree have 5.5% unemployment rate, which is about 17% higher than the national average. Workers aged 25 and over with some college but no degree make an average about $899 per week, which is about 14.9% less than the average worker. Workers aged 25 and older with some college but no degree make 7.1% less than associate's degree holders on average. Workers with bachelor's degrees make 48.4% higher income than students with no degree. Some college, but no degree. Okay? Now, young grad unemployment rate is at 4.1% compared to the rest of the unemployed 3.1%. This is from another author, Brian O'Connell, from Street.com. Now, historically, the job market is reliably tough for new grad because, unlike experienced workers, new grads often have little on traditional resume that demonstrates their potential. And this is what I want to talk to you about the potential, right? But first, let's talk about layoff this year. There's a lot. The layoff is Peloton at 4,150 people that got laid off. Remax has 17% of its workforce, Netflix about 150 people, Shopify at 1,000, Snap at 20%, Wayfair at 170 employees, Robinhood at 1,000 people, which is 23% of its workforce, 7-Eleven laid off 880 corporate jobs, Vimeo 6% of its workforce, Tesla 229 employees because they closed their San Mateo ones, Rivian 6% of its workers, GoPuff 10%, Microsoft less than 1% of its workforce, JP Morgan is 1,000 workers got laid off, Compass 450 employees, Redfin 6%, Coinbase 18%, Carvana 12%, or 2,500 of its workforce, Reef Kitchen 5%, Better.com 4,000 people got laid off, Noom weight loss, it's a weight loss app, 495 people, Trasho, which is an Amazon aggregator, 20% of its workforce, Wells Fargo, unknown numbers, but they have laid off people, Cameo 87 people. Now these are companies just right now in 2022 and recently have laid off a lot of employees, and these employees already have experiences, right? And they're still having issues trying to find a job. So education and job, and most of education, quite honestly, I've been teaching for 10 years in higher ed, is that you, especially undergraduate, some master's program, you only learn the theory. You don't really learn the real world or practice it, right? And sometimes that's why Harvard or MIT have a lot of case studies. The reason being is that you're actually trying to solve a problem that is actually happening right at this moment, or at least within 6 months to a year of that issue. And that is great because now you have creative thinking skills, right? You have all your critical thinking skills coming up. Your emotional intelligence will get exercised, right? But not a lot of colleges do that, right? It's very rigid. It's theory-based. It's a lot of quizzes. It's a lot of tests. And most of the tests are open book anyway, so you really don't have to think outside the box, right? So why wonder Level Up Academy? I really want to create courses that I have taught for my students, except I'm crafting it where experience meets and marries theory, right? So we get theory and then we practice it to ourselves so that it becomes habit forming. And that is what Level Up Academy is all about. We're trying to get theory. We still learn the theory because it's foundation. We still need to learn. But we're going to use that theory and practice it in class. For example, do you know your learning style? Have you actually invested time to know your learning style? We all learn differently. You hear that all the time. But do you know your learning style? I am an auditory, visual, and kinesthetic, but I'm more kinesthetic and visual. I will not read instructions when I buy things. I'd rather look at the picture and do it myself. I like touching things and learn from that. When I see it, I touch it, I do it. Some people learn auditory just by listening. Some people learn by reading, right? But do you know your learning style? You don't learn that in college usually, right? Do you know your conflict management style? Because you're always going to have conflict with anyone and everyone. Some conflicts are great, some conflicts are not so great. But do you know how to handle conflicts? That's also not most of the time taught in class. And if it is, it's just talked about, but not really practiced. Level Up Academy is about learning it and practicing it so that when you are at work, you learn those skills already. You learn how to problem solve. You learn how to deal with people. You learn your learning style, right? You manage yourself first before managing someone else. And that is why I created Level Up Academy. Classes here that we are creating are for you so that you can learn practical approaches on how to solve the problem. Welcome to Level Up Academy. I will see you soon in class.